The Ant from the Pompey fans in the morning, Jeff. Sounds like you had a good night's sleep. Oh, appearances can be deceptive, but that's another story. Regarding Nuno, you only have to look at his win percentage to see he'll be a huge loss to Nottingham Forest and a massive gain for someone else.
Yes.
And of course, that's the other story. That's going to be the big story of the day.
It's a big story, Jeff. Are you and I that surprised?
No.
No, I don't think we are we?
No. I mean, unfortunately, I think as soon as he's spoken out and criticised the owner, the paymaster, the opinionated, Evangelos Marinakis, there was only going to be one ending. And I think Nuno, in the couple of weeks that have gone since then, it sort of backtracked a little, but it was too late.
I think, Jeff, I think he knew. One thing Nuno is, he's an intelligent man. You and I aren't surprised. He wouldn't be surprised. He won't be surprised either. No chance. He knows. You're not taking that man on and beating him.
Yeah.
So I'm not even sure he attempted to take him on. I just think he poked the fire, didn't he? Poked the bear.
Oh, well, he certainly did. And after they lost 3-0 at home to West Ham, one of the TV interviews asked him about the result. He said, well, it hasn't helped my cause a lot, has it?
Yeah.
And I'm certainly new. And he leaves that job, by the way, in a great position, because there will be plenty of takers for a man who's taken them from the brink of relegation to Europe and an FA Cup semi-final in the space of 2 years. He's done a fantastic job there. Fantastic job there.
Without doubt.
So, I mean, it begs the question whether it's a mistake by Marinakis or not. But, I mean, at the end of the day, he's the fellow who pays the bills. And he is going to be the one who has the last say.
Of course he is. That's factually correct. You can see what you like. As we saw yesterday, he's just about getting an opinion and everything, which is fair enough.
Yeah.
Listen, from our point of view, he's great, Jeff. He gives us plenty to talk about, doesn't he?
Yeah. European football expert Kevin Hatchard was on air when the news of Nuno's sacking broke late last night. Here's his reaction.
Not a huge surprise. Once he'd made those public comments about his relationship with Marinakis, he was always in danger. We've seen this at Olympiacos with Marinakis down the years. He's not a man that takes any kind of criticism lightly, and we know that. And even if you've had the kind of campaign that Nuno has, it doesn't necessarily insulate you from this kind of thing. It was clear that his relationship with Edu, the sporting director, had been a complete non-starter. That obviously fueled the flames. And I think it's a great shame, actually, for Forest. I think it's a great shame for Nuno. I think as well, you look at that squad, it's kind of set up for the way that Nuno plays, that counter-attack, that kind of soak up pressure and then hit on the counter. Guys like Dan and Doy, I think brought in, he's perfect for that kind of counter-attacking football. So what happens now? So I think it's a big risk, actually, not just in terms of the overall feel of the club and the vibe of the club, but actually tactically as well.
Yeah, and, we'll get the reaction of the fans during the course of the morning, and I imagine a lot of them are going to be very disappointed.
Yeah.
Indeed. What about the players, Ali?
I think they'll be disappointed.
Yeah. I look at people like Chris Wood, and his career has been, relaunched, if you like, under Nuno.
I think, well, you obviously don't know that, you know what it's like when you're a manager. The boys that are playing will generally speaking like you. The one or two that hovering about the bench in the squad that won't fancy if you're not picking them all the time. But you've got to say the one thing, looking at Forest, the lookers have got a great, fantastic camaraderie about the place. Well, I've been a couple of times, Jeff, and it's a great place to go to. A lot of the old boys there again, Ian Boyer and all the lads. A brilliant place to go to. Really enjoyable. They look after the old lads. Just a great atmosphere about the place. And you take a gamble. You do. You take a gamble and changing that, changing the kind of, if you like, one of the main features in that, who's been a rock, and that would be the manager and the coach, Nuno. So, yeah, I mean, there's no saying. And another thing you'd have to say, it's a difficult act to follow. I mean, it's a very, very good job for somebody, but it is a difficult act to follow. And you're right, there will be, without doubt, there'll be a great number. I would suggest the majority of players in that dressing room were very disappointed this morning.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt. I don't think any of them will really have been shocked. You'll have seen a load of names banded around, by the way. Let me just tell you one thing. Nobody knows. In newspaper officers and media officers up and down the country, reporters have been doing just what we did when we arrived at talkSPORT this morning. And so, who do you think? Postecoglou, Mourinho, Solskjaer, Rodgers, Deitch? They don't know, okay? So we welcome your suggestions for us fans to who you want, that is for sure. Just a couple of quick texts. Simon says, I know he probably won't, but the Forest job is made for Jurgen Klopp. He definitely won't.
No chance.
He definitely won't.
No, I wouldn't say it.
And I wouldn't normally read this one out, Coisty, but I think it's done in very good humour because it has kiss on the end, okay? It says, hi, what a false laugh Ali has. So irritating. He's such a phony. And that's from Arnie Slot. Brilliant. I think that's very, very funny indeed.
Very good. I should have laughed at
that. Another one here. Morning, guys. I wonder how Morgan Gibbs-White is feeling this morning. He's denied a big move to Spurs. Yeah. Now he has to stay at Forest without his man.
He was one of the ones I was thinking about, Jeff. Yeah. Interesting. There were a lot of disappointed players. They're really, really well because he's done a phenomenal job there, I think.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. We looked at it and that West Ham result, as big as it was for West Ham and Graham Potter, massive for them, might just have been the final wee nail for Nuno.
Yeah, maybe. I tell you what, I mean, my first thought coming in was that if Evangelos Marinakis knew he was going to sack Nuno, and I'm pretty sure he did, why didn't he do it immediately after that West Ham game? And I thought, well, they've taken that time to line somebody else up. And then I saw they've got Arsenal away in their next game, and I'm thinking, if I'm the incoming manager, I'm not starting on after Arsenal away. Yeah. But we shall see. It's going to be a good talking point this morning. Forest fans, let's hear from you. Are you in danger of turning on Evangelos Marinakis? I don't think you are, really. Even if
he's got enough in the bank, hasn't he?
He's got a lot of credit in the bank. Postecoglou, Mourinho, linked, Rodgers, Deitch, Marco Silva, who was at Olympiacos for a time.
That's what he was?
Yeah, he had a 79% win record there. All linked with the job.
He's doing a great job, isn't he?
He's doing a great job, but Fulham have not been active in the transfer.
And he was another one that's kind of, wasn't he? Yeah, I take your point.
I have no idea. I mean, that's what I said earlier on. Yeah. We don't know.
But it gives us a great talking point.
Yeah. And of course, I mentioned the Arsenal game coming up this weekend. That's their next game. Forest have got 4 away games on the bounce now. 2 of them in the Premier League, 1 in the League Cup, and then they've got their first Europa League game away at Real Betis. So pressure on them to get somebody in relatively soon. Of course, that Arsenal game, by the way, live and exclusive on talkSPORT.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.